Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Daniel, and we are here with the absolutely brilliant Joe Booe.
How's it
Welcome,
going,
Joe.
everybody? Thanks for having me again,
Yeah,
pal.
yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. So, Joe, for those people who don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself?
You bet. Primarily, I was known as being the lead singer for the band Rain of Fire, but I've been a singer for bands for about 40 years. A number of known artists like 7 Months, Strychnine. I also sing for the band Voodoo Mirage. Rain of Fire has now dissolved, so unfortunately, there's no more Rain of Fire. But I sing for a band. It's a collaboration with Tom McElman called Boo McElman. I've got a band called Joe Booe and the Dog. I do a lot of work with Storm Kingdom, Justin Holf 40, Storm Kingdom. And I also do a lot of work with Steve Klatt and Steve Klatt Project. I've done work with Entropy in Motion. Um, and I'm also working with Dashing Skull Club and doing an awful lot of collaboration work as well. I've got a new band that hopefully will be releasing something pretty soon called Oki. Um, so I'm kind of all over the map. I do a lot of collaboration work, but I've also got a number of bands that I sing for. Oh, and I've also got a brand new band that I just recently put out my first release with called Switch Flame, which is myself and the guitarist, Australian guitarist from the band Trickshot, named Ian Poole. Fantastic guy, fantastic guitarist. So he and I are in the process of working on a 12-song album.
Cool, cool. So, in the last couple of weeks, you've sent over some songs that I've been
Yes,
listening to, which are absolutely brilliant, by the way.
thank you.
Um, so, could you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, I've got a couple of new releases that just came out over the last month and a half with Storm Kingdom. One of those was called Prometheus. That was a collaboration also with Sonia Hutchinson of Crow Silver. She and I duetted on the song, and it's difficult to call it a duet because it's a very powerful metal song. So it's got a little goth to it. It's very mythically based on the Greek Titan Prometheus. Uh, and Sonia's beautiful voice worked really well with my aggressive, hard driving deep vocals. And then he and I also released a song called Emerald Isle about Ireland. I'm of Irish descent, and being an American, I haven't had the opportunity to go to Ireland, but my family has, and so I've always had this kind of desire to go back and kind of explore my roots. So the song is really basically about that. I also put out two songs with Steve Klatt, one called Sacred Fire and another called Insanity. And I just recently sent you the new first release by Switchflame called Running Out of Time, which is a very fun AC/DC-ish kind of aggressive hard rock song. And most of the stuff that we're doing has elements of kind of Iron Maiden influence, Judas Priest influence, Deep Purple, AC/DC kind of stuff. The stuff that you and I grew up with. I've also got a new song that I just sent to you today, in fact, or I'm sorry, last night. It's a new release by Voodoo Mirage called Danger Zone. So I've got about 6 songs that I just recently sent to you, and I'll have a few more coming pretty soon after.
Cool, cool. We got a question from Ozzy, Queen of the Rose. Uh,
Hey,
she asks, um, she asks, what is your favorite song from your own band?
ooh boy, favorite song from my own bands. I would probably say the very first release that I did with Voodoo Mirage called Realign. We did a 4-song EP and called the EP Realign as well. And Voodoo Mirage includes Randy Nitch, who was a guitarist for Saint Tragedy for a number of years, and he and I had a band 25 years ago called Monkey Fist. So I had plagued Randy for a couple years to work on resurrecting Monkey Fist, and instead, what he did was he had 4 completed songs, musically completed, that he sent to me. And the very first one we did was Realign, and then also Demons, You're Not There, and Left in the Middle. But Realign has a special place in my heart because it was really kind of the start of Voodoo Mirage, which is it's kind of become my flagship band. That's the band I probably focus the most strongly on.
Cool, cool. Thank you for that, Ozzy.
Thank you, Ozzy.
So, um, out of the bands and the collaborations that you are doing at the minute, is there any plans on doing sort of like putting out EPs? I know you said you're going to be sort of like putting together a 12 track album.
Right.
Is there any plans on doing any other? Putting
I
out
actually have a number of them. Voodoo Mirage just got done in the studio. Randy's going back in the studio for one more stretch, and he's got four new pieces of music for me to complete. We've got two songs that are done after the EP release of Realign. We put out a song called Break These Chains, and then the new song Danger Zone. We've got four more we'll be working on. So we'll be releasing another EP that'll probably be sometime in the early spring, late winter, early spring. We try to do a release every 6 to 8 weeks. So Danger Zone is coming out next Friday. So we'll follow up, about every 6 weeks or so with new songs until we complete it. And that'll be a 6-song EP. Steve Klatt and I are completing a 6-song EP. We've got 2 more songs that we're going to release over the next, probably by the end of the year, before the end of December. So one will be in November, and the final one should be sometime in December. And that'll be a 6-song EP. Justin Whole40 of Storm Kingdom, he and I are finishing up another. We put out a 5-song EP called Hymn of the Ancients, and so we've got another 5-song EP that we'll be releasing probably around the end of the year. We also have a brand new song that's coming out. It's called In the Shadow of Persephone. Persephone was the Greek goddess that Hades kind of tricked with pomegranate seed, kind of knocked her unconscious and stole her away to the underworld, and she became the queen of the underworld with Hades, and they were kind of a powerful duo. So the song is from Hades' perspective, kind of living in the shadow of this beautiful goddess, and he's unworthy, but yet she loves him. So that's about to be released. So he and I are doing it'll be another 5-song EP. Tom McElman and I have a new song that will be coming out soon called Mission. And at some point, we've got a strong enough body of work that I'd like for he and I to put out an EP as well. Rain of Fire, while it's a finished project, we had 6 songs that were done, and I'm waiting for the drummer, Pete, to finalize remastering those 6 songs, and we'll put those out as an EP as well. And then Ian Poole and I are releasing what will be in total a 12-song album.
Cool. Lisaboo says, looking forward to the new releases. And she also says, love mythology.
Oh, then you need to take a look at the entire catalog of Storm Kingdom then. He and I do a lot of collaborative work. We'll probably have a total of about 10 songs done, but Justin does a lot of stuff. He works with other artists in collaboration, and then he does a lot of stuff on his own, and he's really a big fan of mythology. So the first song we did, he and I did a song about the Stephen King series of books called The Dark Tower. And that really kind of set the ball rolling for he and I. But a number of the songs that we've done have had some mythological foundation, whether it's Greek mythology or Celtic. So we really try to mix it up a lot with ancient history and the kind of the myth foundation of a lot of ancient history.
Cool. Would you sort of like go down other routes of like different countries' mythology or other people's mythology with their songs?
Yeah, a lot of it stems from what Justin starts with as an idea, and because I don't want to deviate from his foundation, he'll send me a piece of music that's mostly done, and then we'll kind of develop the songs together. But a lot of the music is already finished, and he'll give it a name because it evoked a feeling for him when he wrote it. Like Emerald Isle, it was very Celtic in its foundation. So that's why when I wrote the lyrics, I thought, I love Ireland. I've always wanted to go to Ireland. I'm Irish on both sides of both my parents were Irish. And so I've always had this kind of draw to go to Ireland. And then a lot of the other stuff that Justin sends me to, he starts out with either melodies that are of like a ancient Greek foundation or even Middle Eastern. So that's where a lot of it stems from. Given wherever the roots of the musical foundation were from, then we'll try to build upon that. And I try to stay true to what his original idea was in terms of what the lyrical content should be. So the storyline that I'll write lyrically will typically have a lot to do with what Justin felt when he wrote the song, and where the the original foundation of it came from.
Cool. So, when he sent you the music, would he sort of like send over some idea of where the lyrics should go, like in which direction they go?
Not at all. He's really and most of the people that I work with, they kind of do the same thing. They give me an awful lot of creative license. So they give me all the liberty in the world to write whatever I want. And I'm fortunate. I mean, I've written a lot of stuff. I've written probably 500 songs in my life, and I've recorded at least 200. I'm getting close to. I'm almost at 100 published songs. I'm at 98 with the next 2 releases that'll get me to 98 songs that I've had published. So I'm grateful that most people that I work with trust me and trust the lyrical content. I'm I feel like I'm pretty adept at it. Sometimes people have ideas, and I love if they do and when they do. But I've been lucky. Steve Klatt does the same thing. Randy from Voodoo Mirage does the same thing. The guys from Rain of Fire. Everybody's always kind of just said, "Here, it's yours. Do with it what you will." And they leave the kind of the lyrics and storyline and even vocal melodies to me, and I do all my background vocals too. So even like doing work with Sonia Hutchinson from Crow Silver, that's kind of a rarity for me. I don't usually work with other vocalists. I do almost all of them myself. I've been in bands like Strychnine was a band where my bass player sang background vocals and the drummer and keyboardist also sang some. But for the most part, now with everything really kind of being just recording, I do all the vocals myself.
Cool. We've got a couple more questions. Right, Lisaboo has just asked, is there an artist you would love to work with that you haven't yet?
Ooh, yeah. There's an artist in France called His Theory. Brilliant musician. I love the guy. His name is Charles. And he and I have talked about it at length about trying to do something together. Another would be Deidre Patrick. She's got such deep, rich, like voice like molasses. So I'd love to do a duet with her. And to be honest with you, I'm lucky. I'm getting to work with a lot of the people who I have the deepest respect for. Randy Nitsch, he and I have a long history together, so I love working with Randy. So I've been very lucky in that regard. Justin Holforty from Storm Kingdom, I absolutely love the way he writes. I got a chance to work on a couple songs with Andre Herrera of Entropy in Motion, who I have the utmost respect for. The guy is just absolutely brilliant. And another guy that I'm really lucky that I get to work with is Tom McElman, who's off the charts, fantastic guitarist and a great producer. And he has an awful lot more ideas in regards to like vocal lines, and so he'll be a little bit more involved in what I'll write vocally. But he's an incredible artist, and he's also a singer in his own right. So he really doesn't even need me. But I've been very lucky that he's involved me in a number of songs with him. So I've been lucky. I've been able to work with some fantastic people, even the guys from Rain of Fire. I mean, Rob Chrisman is an incredible guitarist. Pete Bartolome with the drummer, fantastic drummer. Jim Davich was a great bass player. So I've been lucky to work with fantastic artists already. But Charles from History would be somebody I'd love to work with. Nick Lang, UK. I'd love to work with Nick. He's a great vocalist. There's so many guys that I think are fantastic. Just recently got to start working with Dashing Skull Club. And I'm also going to be working with Sanctity of Crows, Ian from Sanctity of Crows. So he and I are going to work on a piece. So I guess that's a tough question to answer because I feel like I've already gotten a chance to. I've really been lucky and gotten to work with some of the greatest people in the indie community. And, I mean, it'd be great to work with like Iron Maiden. It'd be great to work with Judas Priest. But those realities probably could never come to fruition. So I'm just grateful that I get to work with the best that I know of in the indie community.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Right, we've got another question from Ozzy, Queen of the Rose.
Yes, Ozzy.
She asks, do you have plans to travel abroad in the future with your band?
I'd love to. I haven't performed in a while, and Ian and I are planning on playing Punk in the Corn next year. And I don't know if you're not familiar. It's a huge festival that was put together by Tim from EWL, Even Without Life. So it's called Punk in the Corn, but it's not strictly punk. It's going to be 30 bands. Green Jelly's headlining. So and Trick Shot and Ian Poole will be playing there. So he and I are planning on playing it next year, and I'm hoping that ends up being kind of a slingshot to us doing other things. He's from Australia, so we may potentially try to do some shows in Australia, do some shows in the States. Randy Nitch and I have always talked about when we complete enough body of work that we'd like to take it to the road. The idea of touring internationally would be fantastic, but like you and I were talking before the show started, it's kind of tough. Because a lot of times you don't end up getting sizable followings if you're not a big known mainstream band. So as an independent artist, it's kind of tough. I'd love to do it. I'm pretty close to retirement, so that'll offer me an awful lot more freedom and free time. So that may be a strong possibility in just a couple of years. I'm about 2.5 years away from retiring.
Cool. So if you do, if everything does sort of like align, like all the stars, the financial backing, and everything, would you, without go say, right, I want to do, like say, East Coast of America or like a West Coast tour?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The States are easy. I mean, I've already played all over the States. I grew up in the Midwest, so my band Strychnine was kind of a big staple for about 4 or 5 states in the Midwest. We played all over the Midwest. When I was with 7 Months, while we were big in Europe, we were also big on the West Coast. So we played all up and down the West Coast, California, and all up and down that coast. I played in Vegas, so I played all over the place. And Europe would be someplace I'd love to play. It's just a matter of whether or not there'd be enough interest to support it. Would we be able to get shows lined up in Europe? So yeah, I mean, playing in the States is easy. I've done it for most of my life, and I know I could get an entire 6 months or 8 months worth of gigs playing, several nights a week. So, but the big deal would be coming over to your side of the pond.
Cool. Thank you for that, Ozzy.
Thanks, Ozzy.
Speaking of which, Ozzy says I'm heading to the UK in 2027. So if you do get over to the UK, would you sort of like do a tour of the UK in 2027?
That would be my first and foremost goal. UK would be where I'd want to go most, because I think there's a much greater opportunity to play to larger audiences in the UK than there probably is just about anywhere else in Europe. Germany, the UK, well, any of throughout the British Isles. I don't know how big hard rock and heavy metal are in like France and some of the other European countries. I think Scandinavia would be a little more embracing because metal is a big deal in Scandinavia.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I know there's a big metal scene in Germany.
Yeah, yes, would be second. So UK and Germany would be the 2 big ones for me in terms of potentially European tour, and then also Scandinavia.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Ozzy.
Thanks, Ozzy.
Where can people find the music that you've released at the minute or going to be released?
All right, here's the long list of bands, and we're on every streaming service. So you can find us on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Amazon Music, you name it. I'm distributed through CD Baby, and I've got I now have I think 11 bands that are distributed through all of them, all those streaming services through CD Baby. So Switch Flame is the new one, and that's Ian Poole and I. So you can find us on any of the streamers, and I set up YouTube channels for all of them. Rain of Fire is all over the place too. Big YouTube channel. Voodoo Mirage has its own channel. Boo McElman has its own channel. Joe Booe and the Dog has its own channel on YouTube. But all of those bands can also be found on every streaming service. Strychnine, the band 7 Months, the number 7, the word months. The Michael Ray Band, and then all my collaborations can be found either under my name, under Joe Booe, or under Storm Kingdom, Steve Klatt Project, Entropy in Motion. I've done collaborations with Burles Band, with Mechanic A, with Plains Desperate Symphony, the Fods. I don't know if I hope I'm not missing anybody. But it's a long list. I mean, there's a lot of them. But like I said, it's about 98 published songs. And but yeah, if you do a search, and then of course you can always find all of them on Facebook as well. I've got Facebook pages for all those bands. I've got X pages for most of the bands as well. A couple of them are on Reverb Nation. Most of them are on Bandcamp. So if you want to download the music, you can. But we're on all the streaming services. And it's either Joe Booe, Voodoo Mirage, Rain of Fire, Joe Booe and the Dog, Boo McElman's, the Steve Klatt Project, Storm Kingdom, and the list goes on and on.
Cool. Speaking sort of like with Bandcamp, is there any planned merch for all the bands?
I don't yet. I've actually got CDs that I'm probably going to start posting. I don't have T-shirts. It's something that I'd like to do. The biggest problem with T-shirts is I don't want to buy hundreds of T-shirts and end up sitting on hundreds of T-shirts.
Yeah, true.
Right. But I've already got, I've got the CDs printed because CDs I like to use either as promotional, as a promotional item, or I do sell them. So I do have people who want to buy CDs. So through Bandcamp, you can download any of the songs, and then I'll have it set up pretty soon where you can actually get a hard copy mailed to you.
Cool. So when you do sort of like set up like the for T-shirts and stuff like that, would they be up on Bandcamp?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I'll have those eventually set up too. And I know I can do limited run, so I can do a smaller quantity. It's just to test the market and see if people are actually interested in getting T-shirts for Boo McElman or for Voodoo Mirage or Rain of Fire, who they want them for. So and it's funny that you asked because I actually just got everything set up on Bandcamp a couple months ago. I realized, look, this is a resource I haven't been accessing and I need to, because a lot of people have asked me, hey man, how can I get your CDs? So it's nice to have that interest, and it's nice to have an outlet to be able to get the stuff to people. Yeah.
There's always been times where I've been asked this question, ask that question, ask about merchandise.
Yeah,
I want there's people like when I ask a question in a minute by Ozzy, they always say, ask this question. I want to support this guy. I want to support the bands.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think that's for most bands, that's their biggest concern. Like, is anybody going to buy this stuff? Because I know people can listen to my music for free on Spotify, or they can listen to it on whatever streaming service they use. They can go on Facebook to find out more about us. They can go on this or that. They can go to our websites if I have websites. And you always wonder, all right, are people actually going to buy merchandise? Because if you shell out the money, then it's a lot of times it's kind of expensive to get the stuff set up. And if there's not much interest, then you're sitting on it.
Yeah,
so know that people are actually interested.
Yeah. I always like say, if you like what you see, like what you hear, there's if you want to buy any merch, there's the links.
Support them, because every band needs it. All of us are scratching out a meager existence. For most of us, music is a labor of love. You don't really make much money at it, and we're all. I think everybody's hoping for that big opportunity, but a lot of times it's just you're doing it because you love it, not because you're making any money at it.
Yeah. So if any of the bands have got like any sort of like merchandise, and people like what they're hearing, they're going to, I wouldn't say all of them, but there would be a good few of them would say, "Oh, I like this. I'm going to buy a T-shirt."
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. I mean, just the fire I need lit under my ass to go get some T-shirts printed then.
Yeah, even if it's just a limited run to see what the market's like.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a question from Ozzy, and she always asks this: any plans for vinyl?
At vinyl you run into the same question. Are there enough people who are willing to buy vinyl? Because in the end, it ends up costing you, and fortunately vinyl's kind of come down, but it still costs you about $10 or $12 per LP to print. And depending on this next run with Voodoo Mirage, and same with Steve Klatt, if it seems that enough people are interested in an LP, then we'll probably do a joint, because you like some of these companies like disc makers will do a joint order. Well, you can do like 100 LPs and 500 CDs. So we may do that just because there's always there seems to be a rising interest in people listening to LPs again, listening to vinyl, and I love that because you know how it is, man. I mean, you and I grew up on it. I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
sound of vinyl. That warmth
Yes,
is
yeah.
just unmatched. Digital kind of took it all away, and getting that warmth back is really a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I've been hearing, the difference between like digital and vinyl, like which is the analog, you got to mix it to it. There's two types of mixing.
Yeah, you have to mix and master them differently because the
Yeah.
EQing is going to be a little different. With digital, it's so clean, but with the needle, there's kind of a warmth and a lower end rumble that you get. So you almost want to EQ some of that away because otherwise you get too much. You'll get too much of the low end. You get too much low EQing. So you kind of EQ it away a little bit, and you're going to get it just from the needle being on the record. So yeah, and then mastering obviously it's a slightly different mastering too. So so you really almost end up with two very different finished products. What you hear on LP and what you hear on CD.
Yeah. 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 Aussie, as you said, love vinyl.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ozzy. I had a huge collection that is a terrible. I hate this story. I hate telling this story, but I had all my vinyl records at my parents' house, and they were at this time they were living up north, and I live in Florida, and I'd always planned on going to get them from their. They had them in the garage, and so when my parents moved, they downsized their house, so they just sold everything at garage sales and pretty much gave everything away. So I asked them. I said, "Hey, what happened to my records? I was going to come and get them." And my dad said, "Oh, we sold them at a garage sale." I said, "You sold them?" He said, "Yeah, for a quarter." I said, "A quarter each?" He said, "No, for all of them." I had hundreds of albums that he sold them for a quarter US, a quarter of a dollar US. I couldn't believe it.
25 cents.
25 cents. Ah, it still
Oh,
kills. It still kills me.
oh,
Yeah, I was in tears.
that's happened. Oh, God.
Yeah, hundreds,
Oh,
hundreds of albums for a quarter.
oh,
Whoever got that was dancing in the streets, man.
oh.
Yeah.
If somebody sold my bare vinyl collection, I don't know what
Yeah.
I would do.
Yep. I lost my mind. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh,
Yeah, horrible.
oh.
Horrible. I still have nightmares about it.
Lisaboo shocked. I was just saying, what the heck?
Yeah, just terrible.
Oh, oh, 25 cents.
Yeah,
Oh,
25 cents
Jesus.
for all of them. For a
Oh,
huge, huge collection of LPs, man.
oh,
My father had no clue. He had no idea. Didn't understand the value of them at all. It'd be like
yeah.
giving away. It's like giving away an old Jag, like having a 1967 Jaguar and giving it away for $5.
Yeah. I've been doing I've been covering like a lot of car shows
Yeah.
over a good number of years. Some of the cars I've seen are basically £1 million plus.
Right.
£1 million plus.
It's insane what these old classic cars get now.
Yeah.
And that's how LPs are. I mean, I've known people who have paid hundreds of dollars for a single album because it's hard to find. You find a rare album, you might pay thousands of dollars for it. And I had I had a great collection of music.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've got just about all of them still on CD, but it's not the same. I mean, these were vinyl, and I mean that's the kind of stuff that you keep forever,
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, especially if it's like a limited edition of say
Right.
100
Right.
of 100.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it broke my
Yeah.
heart.
Says that's trauma.
It is,
and
Lisa.
And Ozzy said PTSD trauma.
You got it, Ozzy. I still occasionally have a nightmare about it. Where
yeah, I've got some. Limited. Well, I wouldn't say limited edition. I made albums and like picture discs and everything from like the X Factor album,
right? Okay.
By Iron Maiden, and it's just I would never.
You wouldn't give that up for anything.
No, I wouldn't, because it's not only is it like Eddie of the of the cover of X Factor with like in a head vice with like pins going through his cheeks and everything. Right. But I've got the massive poster to go with it as well.
Well, that's just it. With almost anytime you got like a special edition or a limited edition, it came with posters, it came with additional stuff included in it, liner notes, all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff I didn't want to lose, man. You know?
Yeah. It's even with the album, CD album, it came in a box with postcards as well.
Cool.
So, like I said, if I ever lost that, or if it decided to sell everything up, I was just like, you better not.
No, exactly.
I would personally, I will go on a rampage. Because as you can see, I've got an Iron Maiden,
right. Back
Iron Maiden behind us.
Yeah,
I was just like, yeah. So that's a Life After Death mirror.
Right.
Awesome. I was, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, going away from that trauma. move on from that trauma. Yeah. Lisaboo's just going there. PMM gone wild. Yeah, I will go wild.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry about it. Yeah. So, where can people find you? So, sort of like your main, like all the band's pages, but also like the main sort of like area where people can go and find you, so they keep up to date.
Well, the easiest way to find me is going to be probably on Facebook. I have a Joe Booe channel on YouTube, which has all my music. So every song that I've released, I've got either a cover art video or an actual music video for. I've got a lot of live video footage there too, from like my days with Strychnine, 7 months. So you can go on my channel and find, old live footage. You can find either cover art video or music video for every song I've done. Even some stuff that's not been released. So I've got 2 bands that I had done some music with that had never been released, Monkey Fist and Quiver. So Quiver, I've got 6 songs from Quiver, and I've got 5 unreleased songs from Strychnine that are on my channel too. The goal was always, in fact, that's how Rain of Fire got formulated. The goal was that Strychnine was going to do another album. So we kind of brought the band back together. We released 5 new songs, and then the keyboardist passed away. He died of cancer. And the guitarist, who was a Greek national, left the States and moved back to Greece. So it made it really hard for us to try and work on music. So that's when I reached out to Rob Chrisman and asked him if he'd be willing to work on some music with us. We were going to try and do Strychnine stuff, but instead we ended up just writing and recording new songs, and that's where Rain of Fire came from. So, but yeah, if you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook. You can find all my bands on Facebook with their own individual profiles, own individual pages. And then the same with YouTube. You can find any of us as individual channels on YouTube, or you can find my channel, which is Joe Booe, JoeBooe on YouTube, and you can find all my stuff there.
Cool. So, guys in the chat, if you want to ask any questions, please ask away. We're going to be starting to wrap things up in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
I know I've asked this question before, but for those people who don't know who, this is your first sort of like interview I've interviewed. But so Joe, you've got a lot of experience within the music, sort of like in the music industry.
Yes.
So have you got any advice for people who want to become a musician, whether it be for their own personal reasons or quite possibly going down the commercial route?
Yeah, and I think for most of us, we all start out with the same intent, and I don't think it matters how old you are, and I don't think it matters, what style of music you want to do. Most of us started out like kind of when we were in high school, and we're jamming with our buddies in the garage, and we did it for fun. And first and foremost, I think anybody who's interested in music, you have to really love it and really enjoy it. It's got to be an outlet. So if you enjoy it, find friends that have that same passion and do it for fun first. And what you'll find is you'll get really good really fast, because when you do what you love, you can't help but excel. And I've known so many people like, I kind of want to sing. I've tried it at karaoke, and I think I got a pretty good voice. But they're reluctant to take the step into trying to be even an amateur or professional musician or vocalist. But don't be afraid, because what you'll probably find is most people are going to enjoy what you bring to the table. Uh, the beauty of today's music, and even as much as I've had these conversations where we kind of complain about the streaming services like Spotify and Pandora. They don't pay much, but they have given all of us a voice, and they've given us a global audience. They've given us the chance to expose our music and our art to an entire world. And if you have a passion for music, then don't be hesitant, because it's the greatest gift that you'll give to yourself. I can't even imagine my life without it. I've been singing since I was a kid. And for a while, I lost my voice. When I was singing with 7 months, I ended up damaging my vocal cords and had to quit for about 7 years. And it was a kind of an empty feeling. It's if you have the passion and you have the love, then don't be afraid, because there really is no reason for it. There's no fear in expressing yourself artistically. And music probably is the oldest and most humane form of art. Some people like to paint and sculpture, but vocalizing and playing a beat and playing some stringed instrument, playing something is primal, and it's a big part of who we are as beings. And so don't be afraid to do it. Express yourself and enjoy it.
Yeah, sound advice there. Sound advice. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, definitely, music is sort of like primal.
Yeah.
It goes back way back to
Yeah,
when,
caveman.
yeah, when the first humans picked up a stick and started whacking,
You
started
got it.
the
Whacking a
trunk.
rock and found
Yeah,
their skin that they could put over something and created a drum. I mean,
yeah,
and vocalizing. That the ability to use your voice and make sound, and you got to do
yeah,
it. Feel it. You
yeah,
got to.
yeah, definitely. Sound advice there. Lisaboo and Ozzy said great advice.
Thank you, ladies.
And Lisaboo said, thank you so much for coming back on, Joe.
Thank you, Lisaboo. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And Ozzy says the same thing. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Ozzy.
Yeah. So, Joe, we're going to start wrapping things up. So,
Okay.
have you got any final words before we go?
Yeah, I've got a new song coming out tomorrow. It's actually coming out tonight at midnight in the States, so you guys will have it before we will. It's the new one with Storm Kingdom. It's called In the Shadow of Persephone. It's a beautiful song. It's a little different from some of the stuff that he and I have done before. I keep a really low vocal throughout. It's a very pretty song. Justin plays incredible stuff. It's very symphonic, almost like soundtrack music. Like, reminds me, every song has always reminded me of something that should be in a movie. And then next week, I have a new song coming out with Voodoo Mirage called Danger Zone. I have a song that just came out this past Friday with Switch Flame called Running Out of Time. So if you haven't heard Switch Flame song, please check it out. And if you happen to wake up in the morning and see that there's a new song by Storm Kingdom featuring Joe Booe, please check that out. And I got a lot of new stuff in the pipeline that soon will be being released as well.
Cool. So, guys, in the chat, I know Lisaboo and Ozzy has been posting some links to Joe's bands and the Spotify links and everything. So go check them out. Joe is an amazing singer and songwriter. Go check him out. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you, everybody who's in the chat. It was a pleasure talking to everybody.
Yeah. So, guys, until next time, we'll catch you all later.
Awesome.